on the blog at Beyond the Tenure Track. And if you've seen me on your campus doing a workshop, or if anything you've seen me do, you know that one of the key things we always talk about at Beyond the Tenure Track is options. Why it's important to create options. And I think this is not just true for academics, this is true for anybody. We live in a day and an economy where we really want to have options around the kind of work that we do, the ability to do work that we enjoy, and quite frankly, the ability to be flexible when life circumstances happen. And so the other day I was on Twitter and someone posted about a university. I don't know the name of it. I guess the university itself is not as important. They just gave the acronyms, but the university had recently fired about 9 tenured professors. So this is professors not just on the tenure track, right, but tenured professors, faculty members who already went through the struggle, the effort, the time to get tenure and actually be approved for tenure. So going through, the recommendation letters that are needed from other people in the field, from your colleagues in the field, from leaders in the field, from your department saying, yes, we think this person should have tenure, all the way through deans approving tenure, provost, on and on, right? So here's the kicker. In this case, it's not that that these faculty members did anything wrong. There was no breach of contract. Instead, they were fired with tenure, fired because of low enrollment numbers in their departments. So I think their departments were something like political science, history, music, I think philosophy was the other one. But here's the thing, why am I talking about this? Not to spread doom and gloom. We already know that there's some really tricky things happening in the academy right now, and there's a lot of change happening in the academy, and not a lot of the same flourish and options that we, would have hoped, or that we feel like we've been sold by colleagues and by mentors and things like that. But here's the thing, I really believe strongly in doing things that allow you to create options for yourself. I can only think about what those 9 faculty members are thinking right now. I've worked so hard. I actually did it. I made it to tenure. And now I'm being told that the full-time job that I thought I would have for life is no longer there for me. At least not at this institution. And so I work a lot with career changers and then people who are not awarded tenure. And in any case, when you are forced to, or whether by choice, looking to make a career change or need to make a career change, it can be difficult to shift out of the academy and into other kinds of work, or even shift into being a professor at one institution and trying to do the hustle to get somewhere else. So my point here is, I really hope that those 9 faculty members and other people in their position had options. And by options, if you've been on the blog this week, you know that we've been talking about part-time entrepreneurship, or what some people call side hustles or side businesses, as one way of creating options for yourself, so that you know how, one, you know what your skills are, you know what you can do, you know how you can work in the world, and you have experience with putting yourself out in the world and your work out in the world. So part-time entrepreneurship is one of the things that we've been talking about. You also know that there's others, but I want to keep this conversation going, not just on the blog, but also on here on Facebook Live, so that we can start to think more about how do we create options as academics in our everyday walk, our everyday lives. For those of you who are full-time in academic positions or between academic positions, how do you start to create options so that you're not at the whim of whether one university hires you or not, or your income and your work is not bound by the specific things that your current employer is asking you to do, or your current university is asking you to do. So options are important. You can head over to the blog and see more about why I say having options are important. But I think the example of these 9 faculty members is already a big example of why you want to be sure you can be flexible in the event that anything can happen.